We started from beneath Cartagena's Roman theatre. Let's walk uphill together on this quick walking tour to admire the Roman ruins and the cityscape. Let's discover interesting facts from the city's ancient and modern history. Cartagena's old cathedral was built over the Roman theatre in the Middle Ages. Stones from the Roman theatre were also used in the church walls. This beautiful small gate was one of the medieval city walls' gates, an important passage to the old town. The medieval city walls served a defensive purpose, but most were demolished during the city's expansion. Let's go further up. Let's climb even higher. On the hills surrounding the harbor, fortifications and cannon emplacements were built. Open-air stage and auditorium. On the right, the ruins of the Roman theatre. On the hills surrounding the harbor, fortifications and cannon emplacements were built. These defenses were built between the 16th and 19th centuries to prevent enemy fleets from entering. The Roman amphitheatre in front of us was built in the 1st century BC. This was also the site of gladiator fights. A bullfighting arena was built on its ruins in the 19th century. During the day we walked all around it, taking photos from the side and from above, but we couldn't find the entrance. It was a big surprise when we later realized that the entrance was not at the site itself, but one street below, inside the museum. The entrance to the Roman theatre is unique, because you don't enter the ruins directly from the street, but through the museum building, going underground and then up by escalators. This is how the Roman theatre might have looked in its time. The auditorium, shaped in a semicircle and cut into the slope, ascended in steps and could hold about 6,000 people. Access to the top rows was provided by arcaded corridors. Seating was arranged in 3 tiers, based on the social hierarchy. It was probably faced with limestone. The orchestra was the half-circle area located before the stage. This area was covered with marble, and it was where the city's elites sat. Next came the stage with its backdrop, behind which stood the monumental multi-story Sceni fronds, decorated with colonnades, niches, and statues. They used multicolored marble. The statues of the emperor and his family were placed here. In fact, it wasn't a dull gray structure as one might think. The columns were painted to imitate marble, while the wall surfaces were decorated with vivid red, ochre, and blue colors. Bronze and marble statues stood on the stage and in the niches of the backdrop wall. Behind the stage there was probably a colonnaded courtyard, a feature typical of many Roman theatres. Before and after the performances, or during the intervals, the audience could stroll here, converse, and rest in the shade. It was often adorned with statues, gardens, and ornamental fountains. This magnificent structure thus also became a center of religious and community life. Imagine arriving in Cartagena's harbor during the age of ancient Rome. As the ship approaches, we catch sight of the houses built on the hills, the city walls, the temples, and the curved tiers of the theater. After the Roman era, the theater fell into oblivion and was built over. Buildings were constructed on one side of it. Locals had no idea that beneath the walls an ancient building was hidden. At the end of the 20th century, when excavations began, many houses had to be demolished in order to restore the theater. Since residential houses stood in the way, the inhabitants were gradually relocated. Of course, there were several protests back then. In some places the facades of the demolished buildings were preserved, so the street still looks like an old row of houses, but there are no buildings behind them anymore. The city did not want the memory of the streetscape to disappear completely, so on the preserved walls of the demolished houses they painted the images of former shops and storefronts, allowing the old small-town atmosphere to live on. Calle de los Cuatro Santos. The street was named after the city's 4 famous saints. The story says that the 4 saints were siblings. During siesta time, almost everything was closed, so we refreshed ourselves at the Lavi restaurant. During the Roman era, Cartagena was called Carthago Nova, or New Carthage. The city was originally founded by the Carthaginians. This archaeological park also displays finds from that period. For dinner we visited the La Marina Seafood Restaurant, located in Cartagena's fishing district, much to the delight of those craving fresh seafood dishes. On this walking tour, we explored the ancient Roman ruins and history of Cartagena. We visited the famous Roman theater, the city gate, and the Roman ruins. From the hilltop, we enjoyed a bird's-eye view of the city. Stay tuned for more Cartagena adventures in the next part.